All right, we have two final little sections or topics to cover before we're finished with the probability unit. The first one is what is called the fundamental counting principles, or fundamental counting principle, I should say. This is a rather simple concept. So if you'll copy this down, this is the title of the overall little section right here, fundamental counting principle. And then our central question. It looks kind of long, but don't be threatened by how long it is. Same thing with our next little section. So our central question is, how is the number of outcomes of a multi-step process related to the number of outcomes for each step? All right, so if you'll copy that down. And then, this is going to be fairly simple, straightforward. Don't copy down everything, only what I have highlighted. So, fundamental counting principle. The fundamental counting principle is the number of ways event 1 can occur times the number of ways that event 2 can occur. So, how do we use the multiplication to count the number or the outcomes and determine probabilities? This is very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to take the number of possible ways one thing can happen, the number of possible ways something else can happen, and just multiply them together. So, for example here, the cheese and cracker shop has 28 kinds of cheese. So I'm not going to have you copy down everything. So there are 28 kinds of cheese, and then there are 20 kinds of crackers. How many combinations of cheese and crackers are there? So if you'll copy down just that part, I know it might seem like a lot, but it's not. All we're going to do is take the combinations of one and the combinations of the other and just multiply it. There are 28 kinds of cheese. There are 20 kinds of crackers. All we have to do to find the total number of possible outcomes or combinations is just multiply the two together. So as it has right here, 28 times 20, there are 560 possible ways. All right, so that's our first example. All right, second example. In a restaurant, there are 3 kinds of appetizers. So if you'll copy that, 3 appetizers, 6 main courses, 3 types of drinks, and 4 choices of desserts. So what we're going to do is find out how many possible outcomes there are, combinations. All we do is we take the 3 appetizers, the 6 main courses, the 3 drinks, the 4 choices for dessert, and all we do is multiply them together, and when you multiply them together, you get 216 options. That is what the counting principle is. All right, another example. A 6-sided die is rolled, a coin is tossed, and a card is drawn. So we have a 6-sided die that's rolled, a coin is tossed, and a card is drawn. All right, let's think about it. You have a 6-sided die. So there are 6 possible outcomes for the die. So we have a 6. So that takes care of this part. We have a coin that's tossed. How many sides are on a coin? 2. So we multiply it times 2. We have a card that's drawn from a deck of cards. Now, you're not sure. There are 52 cards that are in a deck of cards, so we're just going to multiply 6 times 2 times 52, which gives you 624 possible outcomes. And again, this is nothing more than what's called the fundamental counting principle. All we're doing is just multiplying the different combinations together. It is as simple as that. All right, let you do these right here. You have the Pizza Palace. It offers cheese, pepperoni supreme, and meat pizza with your choice of stuffed, thick, or thin crust. All right, so you don't need to copy everything. You can make a list here. So you have cheese, pepperoni, supreme, and meat pizza. So you have 4 types of pizzas. You have choice of stuffed crust, thick crust, or thin crust. And you have a choice of sauce or no sauce. So how many different outcomes are possible? So let's think about it. You have the types of pizza. You have the types of crust. And then have your sauce choice. So you have 3 different areas. What I want you to do is figure out how many types of pizzas, how many types of crust you can get, and your sauce choice. And then all we're gonna do, is once you have those numbers, is you multiply them together. All right, so I want you to do this one. And then I want you to do the second one. At an ice cream shop, there are 31 flavors, and there are 25 toppings. So we have an ice cream shop, 31 flavors, 25 toppings. All I want to know is how many different ways are there to make a 1 scoop ice cream with 1 topping. And again, you're going to take the combinations of one times the combinations of the other. All right, you're choosing 3 characteristics or 3 characters for your license plate. The first character is a letter. The second character is a digit. And the third character is a digit. So let's think about this. If the first one is a letter, how many letter choices do you have? 26. There are 26 letters in the alphabet. You learned that in elementary school. As far as digits, it's referring to numbers. You have 10 digits. Most people think you have 9, but you have 10 because you have 0 through 9. And that gives you 10 different digits. So you want a license plate that has a letter, a digit, and then another letter. So think about the different combinations, the total number of letters you would have, the total digits you would have, and again, the total number of letters you would have. And so if you'll do this one, and then that will stop us for this first